Hello everyone, my name is Ian Scarf. I'm the director of the Trinity Alps Chamber Music Festival, and welcome to my living room in San Francisco. This is a recording from the second of the Trinity Alps Chamber Music Festival's digital concerts. Our digital concerts are our way of responding to this pandemic crisis. You know what they say, and they have always said, is the show must go on. And although our live concerts for this summer are very much in jeopardy, and so many of our musicians have lost so many performance opportunities, we wanted to create this new series, this digital concert series, to keep bringing music to our audiences and to keep, giving opportunities to all of our many very talented musicians. Today, like I said, is the second of our digital concerts. The first one was sadly not recorded, so it only exists in the minds and the memories of the people who were there. These concerts are recorded using the Zoom platform, which gives us time before and after the performances to have some community gathering time where folks in the audience can meet each other, can meet the musicians, and can do a little Q&A with the musicians as well. This program features performances from 5 of my colleagues, including Jamie Rose Guarrine and Karl Knapp from their home in Amherst, Massachusetts, including James Keene from his home in New Jersey, and including Madoka Asari and Joseph Howe from Denver, Colorado. One of the unexpected benefits of these online concerts is the ability to collaborate with musicians so far away on bringing a program like this together. In our live audience for this were over 100 people from all over the country, and it was just a tremendous joy to be able to share these musicians and this music. If you are interested, please go on the Trinity Alps Chamber Music Festival website to learn more about our concert series. Also, take note that we are offering these as community concerts, and as such, we do not have a set ticket price. Instead, we ask audience to just pay what they can. So whatever you feel is appropriate, if you could log on and send a gift to the music festival, it will ensure that musicians like these keep having these kind of opportunities and that we can keep this kind of show going throughout this crisis. I hope you enjoy this program. First on the program are my friends Joseph and Madoka performing music by Gabriel Fauré, Maurice Ravel, and Heitor Villa-Lobos. Enjoy.
Appreciate it. So, it's really great to be able to do this and to have an audience and to hear applause because both Madoka plays piano for everyone in the Denver area. She's a staff pianist at University of Denver, among other things. And so we were both performing pretty much constantly right up until March 10th-ish.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
Yeah. Mid-March.
Yeah, so it's been, it's sort of weird. I think for those of us who perform a lot, it's been very strange not having that outlet. So it's great to be able to do this. It's really nice. Version of Saint-Saëns, this one, I think. That's sort of a fun piece. And also, I would say, I think I associated with all these impressionist French pieces because of the way that the piano chords sort of create these washes of color. So this is Villa-Lobos' Song of the Black Swan.
Bravo. Bravo. Oh, hello there. Well, thank you again to Joey and to Madoka for joining us. How about another round of applause for these two? Unmute all. Oh. All right. Bravo, bravo, bravo. Thank you, everyone. Okay, I have to say, as a performer myself, I really know the value of hearing some applause after you perform. So thank you all for joining in on that. Next on today's program, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce you to another one of my friends and longtime colleagues, James Keene. Let's see if James can join us. There's the man. Hi, James.
Hi.
James, why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself, where you're joining us from, and what you've been doing with yourself these past couple of months?
Well, I live in New Jersey, and the past couple weeks, I guess I've been practicing a bunch, running and practicing more, teaching, and going grocery shopping once every 3 or 4 weeks.
Wow. James and I first met at the San Francisco Conservatory of Music. We were both students there, maybe a decade ago, maybe more than that. In any case, James and I have been playing music fairly regularly, mainly through the Trinity Alps Chamber Music Festival, which has hosted him a number of times. And, who knows what's going to happen with us this summer. But James, I'm so glad you could join us for this program today. Would you mind telling us what we are going to expect from you in terms of some music this evening?
Well, this sonata is an interesting one. It was commissioned by Yehudi Menuhin, and, in 1944, and once he commissioned it and saw it, he deemed it unplayable. The extensions, the hand contortions that need to occur are not natural. But it's an example of night music, so the sounds that you hear are the sounds of like the insects outside, what Bartók was hearing from his deathbed, actually. The sound of a water pump from outside, insects, the wind brushing through the trees and whatnot. So, I did my best in order to recreate that on the violin. I changed my strings to gut strings in order to make this recording, in order to try to make it as authentic as possible.
Wow. I really like your description of Bartók composing this and trying to go for night music. It kind of follows nicely after the set that Joey and Madoka did. Most of their selections were what we would kind of call from the Impressionist period in, music from France and in that kind of vein. And, we don't normally think of Bartók as a composer of Impressionist music. But I think what you say resonates, at least with me. When I listen to this music and I think about Bartók writing night music and how imaginative and how colorful it is, it really is almost a little bit of Bartók, dabbling with a bit of Impressionism. Yeah.
Yes, you could say that. Yes. And also the composition is in fragments. There's like little bits here and there. Like you get strains of melody, and then there's silence, and then there's a little bit more. It's an interesting piece. I hope that you enjoy.
Well, thank you, James. And just so everyone knows, James and I decided that his current internet situation at his home in New Jersey, it doesn't really allow for good quality streaming. So what he did is he earlier this week, I think it was yesterday, right? Or Wednesday?
Yeah.
Earlier this week, James recorded this for us and sent the file to me. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share that video as a screen share. And I very much hope that it's going to work. Let's give it a try, shall we? Okay. Optimize. QuickTime Player. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to hear James Keene perform Bartók's Melodia from his Sonata for Solo Violin? I hope you enjoy.
Go refund too.
He was also there on Sunday.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was wonderful. Wow.
Thanks, Caroline.
Bravo.
Thanks for asking us.
All right. Oh man, that was fantastic, James. Thank you.
Thanks. It's a strange piece, but hopefully you can. I don't know. It took me a while to wrap my own ear around it, and not only the from a tonal perspective, but like the hand as well.
That's good. While James's Bartók was playing, my cat Monkey jumped up in my lap. So, James, I think you made a very important fan today.
Oh, Monkey.
All right. Thank you very much to James. Now, next, I'd like to introduce you. Well, I just introduced you to my cat Monkey. But I would like to continue with today's program. And for our next pair of performers, well, actually, before we do that, I would like to give you a sneak peek at what we're going to be doing for our third concert. That's right. We have already planned a third of these digital concerts. That will take place in 2 weeks' time on Sunday, May 31st. It will be held at 11 in the morning, California time. That's Pacific time. So it'll be kind of a brunch concert for those of us who are here in California. If you're on the East Coast, I think that's 2 p.m., right? Eastern time. And the reason we are having a matinee, brunch concert, whatever you call it, is because all of our performers on May 31st will be tuning in live from their homes in Europe. That's right. We have musicians tuning in from European countries, including a cellist from Tbilisi, the capital of the Republic of Georgia in Eastern Europe, including our dear friend Leonie Bott, who is one of the violinists with the very famous orchestra, the Concertgebouw in Amsterdam, and other performers from Germany and maybe Sweden also. So stay tuned for more news about our third digital concert, which is coming up in 2 weeks' time. I'm sure that one, will continue to evolve, just as we are always doing with these. It is quite a learning curve we are all going through. So next on today's program, it is my pleasure to introduce you to two of my wonderful colleagues, Jamie Rose Guarrine and Karl Knapp. Let's see if they can join us here in just a moment. Ah, there they are. Okay, let's unmute you. Welcome, Jamie Rose and Karl, to the Trinity Alps digital concert. This isn't the first time you've performed with me and other musicians of the Trinity Alps, but just for those of us who haven't met you yet, would you introduce yourselves and tell us where you are coming from and tell us what you've been doing with yourselves these past couple of weeks?
Certainly. I'm Karl. That's Jamie Rose. We are both in Massachusetts, and this is our studio. And I wish I was having one of those with you, Ian, right now.
Soon enough, my friend. Soon enough.
So Ian and I met in Alaska when I used to at a festival in Fairbanks, Alaska, Fairbanks Summer Arts Festival. There it is. And we enjoyed performing together. And then Ian contacted me one day and said, "Hey, would you like to come play at this crazy, awesome chamber music festival in Northern California that he runs?" And I said yes, but do you need a soprano? Because it would be great to. So we've performed at Trinity Alps a few times now, including last summer, where we met Joey, and so that's where we are. Amherst, Massachusetts. Jamie Rose could probably speak better than me.
Excellent. Jamie Rose, would you give us a sense of, what your life and Karl's life has turned into, in the past couple of months, now that the world is a very different place?
Of course. So for those of you who don't know me, so I'm Jamie Rose Guarrine, and I am a voice professor at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, as well as an opera singer and solo classical artist for almost 2 decades. We were adding up those years. And so that's my career here in Western Mass. I'll never forget the day that we went on lockdown. It was Friday the 13th of March. I had students giving a recital. I had
One of
given
whom's at the concert.
Yes, hi Ryan. And I had sung a recital the week before. We were in a very busy performance schedule. And our schedule, like so many artists, schedule just collapsed and we went into quarantine. And teachers and performers around the world now have evolved and changed because you can't keep music down. We will keep creating, we will keep telling our story and sharing our music and sharing our art. So this program tonight is inspired. These first three songs are inspired actually by my students because all faculty around the world, we went into this online teaching very quickly. As a vocalist, my voice has been trained to project into 3,000-seat houses, you know, a couple thousand seats. And so now it's like, oh, we must come to this sort of digital situation. So we've adapted, and you'll see me at times performing, sort of stepping back and turning away. So not to have any too loud sound coming at you, but we figured out how to sort of solve those types of issues in this quarantine. But again, these three pieces are inspired by my students and my teaching of my wonderful singers in my life, wonderful young singers that have inspired me. So I'm singing first three pieces that originally are for piano and voice. So sorry, Ian, I solicited my accompanist here in quarantine, my husband, to write some cello arrangements, accompaniments for soprano and cello for these three pieces. Now, for those of you listening tonight, Ian, the first piece is in French, the second is Italian, and so Ian is going to post in the chat to everyone the translation of each piece. The first is Si mes vers avaient des ailes by Renaldo Hahn, and it's very apropos for this situation because the text deals with if my verses had wings, they would fly to you, a song of love. So that's our first piece, again with cello accompaniment, transcribed by my husband Karl Knapp.
Good. Don't worry, I don't take it personally. We've tried collaborating on Zoom and it just doesn't work. So I look forward to this and I wish you good luck. Bravo. Bravo, bravo.
Hazard's listening to you.
Okay, mute all.
And this the next piece is dedicated to my Italian family who's tuning in from Chicagoland. Incidentally, congrats to Ian. You have people all over these United States, 5 time zones, including Alaska, to date. So thank you, Ian, for bringing us all together in this way that I don't think could have ever happened in any other possible way. So again, this is Ma rendi pur contento by Vincenzo Bellini.
Bravo.
Here's some.
There are people on this thing. They'll come on.
We're not sure.
All right, great. So this last piece is one of my favorite. This third piece of the Songs of My Students section is Vaughan Williams' Silent Noon. And I feel like this piece is so apropos for now because it is about being alone and quiet in nature with each other. And I know here in Western Mass, we definitely find nature as solace, nature as a place of peace. And this poem is, I believe, about a snapshot in time of a perfect moment of being in nature and just quiet togetherness.
Bravo.
Cheers, grandmother. She passed out, and
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. So now we're going to do a little plug. So we've been busy in the pandemic. We have a CD coming out. So,
Sorry about that.
This CD is entitled, I'm going to try and put it by the camera, Transparent Boundaries. It's music set to the words of Dickinson, Whitman, and Emerson, so all transcendentalist poets. It's apropos for here in Amherst because Emily Dickinson is here in Amherst. I collaborated with a bass colleague of mine, Seth Keaton, who teaches at the University of Utah, and we came together and created this project. There are some world premieres. It's coming out June 12th. So that's cool. Releasing a CD in a pandemic. Ha! That's what's going on. So we're going to do a couple pieces from that CD release. These are world premiere pieces composed by our dear friend Scott Gendel, who we met at the University of Wisconsin-Madison 2 decades ago. And the first piece you'll hear, Karl transcribed for cello.
With Scott's input.
Yes. This poetry by Dickinson, it's from the cycle To Keep the Dark Away, a set of 6 poems, and how music in our life, in our darkest times, how we sing to keep the dark away. The first poem is In Vain. And the second poem is, I'll let you talk about
Well,
that.
the second poem is Accustomed to the Dark, also by Emily Dickinson. And this one, I didn't have to change anything. This was a piece that Scott wrote for Jamie Rose and myself. It was a long time coming. We've been talking to him about creating a piece for us that we could perform, and ever since having it, we have performed it as much as we possibly could. We love it, and so we thank you, Scott. This one, the second one we'll play is Accustomed to the Dark, and it uses a lot of alternative style cello techniques, which I've picked up over years, and told Scott, hey, could you do something cool like that? And he said, well, yeah, totally. And so he did. And we're very excited to perform it for you. So first, In Vain.
Is that to me?
Yeah.
If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life the aching, or calm on pain, or help one fainting robin unto his nest again, I shall not live in vain. I shall not live in vain. I shall not live in vain.
Beautiful.
Love going back to visit. Love going back to see my friend.
And so now, Accustomed to the Dark. Why is it cold in here?
I'm going to share before we do this last one. First of all, thank you, Ian, for bringing us together. So when a soloist sings with orchestra, I'm always, if I get too far back from the conductor and into the violin section, I'll get a violin bow in the butt from the principal concertmaster. And in this particular performance situation, I'm trying to avoid the bow in a different way. But again, we adapt and evolve. Music making. Zoom 2020. All right, please enjoy Accustomed to the Dark, poetry by Emily Dickinson. This is written by Scott Gendel. We grow accustomed to the dark when light is
Wow.
Oh, bravo! Bravo!
Bravo. Take a bow.
Marvelous!
Yay.
Hey.
Look at the